Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. You know, they say all is fair in love, war, and politics. And while I agree with 2/3 of that, honestly, the political discourse that our country has been in the last few years is disgusting, and I say it's disgusting from both sides. Now, it was Justice Clarence Thomas a number of years ago who referred to the Second Amendment as the disfavored constitutional right, and nothing could be any more true. It has consistently been treated as if it is the redheaded stepchild in the Bill of Rights. But you know why Justice Thomas said that? Well, he said that because not only have the courts consistently pissed on the Second Amendment, as have the Democrats, but the Republicans haven't been too good to it either. And I'm going to share with you a most recent example that shows you just how dirty politics can be played out and how your Second Amendment rights can be used as a bargaining chip. Well, let's spend a few minutes and talk about when even the GOP will bargain away your Second Amendment rights. Okay, so what we're talking about today is the recent debt ceiling negotiations and its tie-ins to House Joint Resolution 44. What is HJ 44? Well, we did this video on it right here, and this is a joint resolution which was sponsored by Representative Andrew Clyde out of Georgia's 9th Congressional District. Now, HJ 44, if adopted, would absolutely end ATF Rule 2021R-08F, better known as ATF's pistol brace rule. Now, this is not some wild, pie-in-the-sky idea from Representative Clyde. No, in fact, he has 189 co-sponsors to this resolution, and apparently there are some Democrats who are also willing to sign on to this resolution. So this particular piece of legislation here, resolution, has some significant legs to it, and it is a very, very important component in trying to keep all of you from being felons. Well, along comes the debt ceiling negotiations, and as we know, and there's been a lot of criticism from all sides about everyone involved, and anytime we get involved in these big chunks of negotiations, the truth of the matter is nobody truly is going to come out a winner, okay? And so there's been a lot of criticism, both on the left and the right, about how these negotiations went. Some of the criticism has been directed at Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Now, I want to play to you an interview that Representative Andrew Clyde had on the Steve Bannon show, because I want you to hear about how Speaker McCarthy came to Representative Clyde and talked to him about why he needed to support the debt ceiling resolution and how that tied into HJ 44.
I was called about 12:30 or so on Wednesday, and I was told by leadership that that if I didn't vote for the rule, that it would be very difficult to bring my bill to the floor. Now, remember, the bill that I have is HJ Res 44. This is the pistol brace rule. This is a rule, or this is a bill rather, that takes down the overreach of the ATF. The ATF is trying to become Congress here and create a law, but they don't have the authority to create a law that makes felons out of tens of thousands, actually millions, really, if you look at what CRS, Congressional Review, says about how many potential pistol braces there.
Congressional Research Service.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
Congressional Research Service has said what about this? How many potential felons out there in this country if this thing's not passed?
Congressional research said that there's anywhere from 10 million to 40 million of these braces out there. So there's that many people that would be affected by this ATF rule.
Okay, so there you see it, okay? And they always say, hey, if you like sausage, don't watch it get made. Well, if you like politics, or you're interested in politics, or interested in the law, don't watch it get made, because it is truly this ugly. But here's the situation we're talking about. They go to Representative Clyde and they basically say, hey, you are going to support our debt ceiling, and if you don't do it, we're going to make sure that HJ 44 never makes it to the House floor. Now, while that may seem like good backroom political dealing, let us remember what HJ 44 does. What HJ 44 does is it keeps millions and millions of Americans from becoming felons, okay? That's what this piece of legislation does. This isn't like, oh, I want a new road in my home state. I want a new bridge. I want a new ferry terminal in my state or some other pork barrel bill, okay? This is a resolution that is designed to keep millions of Americans out of prison for purchasing something completely legally to purchase. This is a resolution that is going to smack ATF back down and say, hey, you know what? We have Congress to actually create laws. We don't need executive agencies to do it. But Speaker McCarthy is willing to trade your freedoms and your criminal history and your Second Amendment rights in order to pass his debt ceiling deal. Now, again, do I know everything that's going on in Washington? No, and candidly, I don't want to know everything that's going on in Washington. But it would appear that Speaker McCarthy had himself an excellent opportunity. Perhaps he could have even given more concessions on the debt ceiling deal, but would have required passage of HJ 44. There was a real golden opportunity to advance this joint resolution through the debt ceiling negotiations, and for whatever reason, Speaker McCarthy decided to use that as a bargaining chip against your Second Amendment rights. So, the reason that the Second Amendment has truly become the disfavored constitutional right is because everybody on both sides of the aisle treats this inalienable right as if it is the red-headed stepchild of this Bill of Rights. Listen, you may have more questions about what happened here or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. If you guys do, you should know how to contact Washington Gun Law by now, but if you don't, that's okay, because that information is right down there in the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.